this video is about. A single dad worked at midnight to buy his daughter a birthday present. Then everything changed. If this story touches your heart, please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. The clock on the wall ticked softly, its rhythmic sound a constant companion in the dimly lit room. Midnight had come and gone, but for Sam Grayson, the night had only just begun. He sat hunched over his desk, illuminated by the harsh glow of a single desk lamp. Around him, the detritus of his life as a freelance graphic designer lay scattered. Crumpled sketches, half-empty coffee mugs, and the remnants of an old pizza box that had seen better days. His fingers flew over the keyboard, the sound of tapping keys filling the silence like a heartbeat. He was working on a design for a local nonprofit, a job that would barely cover the bills, but it was something. This time of night was his sanctuary, a place where he could get lost in his work without the distractions of the day. But tonight was different. There was an urgency driving him, a reason far more vital than simply meeting a deadline. "Okay, just one more hour," he muttered to himself, glancing at the calendar taped to the wall. Tomorrow was Lily's birthday. His little girl would be turning 8, and for weeks he had been searching for the perfect gift. He had promised himself that this year he would make it special. "Just one more hour," he repeated, as if willing the time to stretch and bend to his will. Sam's thoughts drifted to Lily, the bright spark in his otherwise mundane life. She had her mother's auburn hair and her father's impish grin, a trait that often got her out of trouble, he mused. He recalled her laughter, the way it danced through their small apartment, filling the rooms with warmth. But all too often, the laughter was punctuated by shadows of loss and absence that hovered in the corners of their lives. "Daddy, can we have a party?" she had asked a few weeks ago, her eyes wide with hope. He had smiled then, but the reality was far more complicated. They could barely scrape by on his irregular income. A party was out of the question, but he had promised her a present, something that would let her know she was cherished and loved, even amidst the chaos. "Just a little more money," he whispered to the glowing screen. If he finished this project in time, he could cover the cost of her gift, a shiny new bicycle she had been eyeing at the local toy store. It would be a small miracle, but he wanted to believe it was possible. The clock ticked on and he lost himself in the designs, adjusting colors and tweaking layouts, inching closer to the finish line. But with every passing moment, a nagging doubt crept in. What if he couldn't make it? What if he failed her? A sudden knock at the door startled him from his thoughts. It was a soft rap, barely audible over the ticking clock. Sam's heart raced as he glanced at the door, wondering if it was all in his head. But then he heard it again, a little more insistent. "Dad," a hesitant voice called from the other side. It was Lily. "Hey, sweetheart," he replied, trying to keep the fatigue from creeping into his voice. "What's up?" I couldn't sleep," she confessed, and he could hear her shuffling feet on the hardwood floor. "Can I come in?" "Of course," he said, leaning back in his chair. He quickly minimized the window on his computer screen, hoping to hide the evidence of his late-night labor. The door creaked open and Lily peeked in, her wide eyes reflecting the dim light. She wore her favorite pajamas adorned with unicorns, a stark contrast to his own worn-out t-shirt and sweatpants. "What are you doing?" she asked, stepping into the room, curiosity etched on her face. "Just working on some stuff," he answered, suppressing a yawn. "You should be in bed, though, it's late." "I know," she said, her voice a mixture of innocence and disappointment. She crossed the room and climbed onto his lap, resting her head against his shoulder. "But I wanted to see you." Sam's heart swelled with affection as he wrapped his arms around her. "I'm right here, kiddo. What's on your mind? Are you excited for tomorrow?" she asked, her tone light but laced with an underlying hopefulness. "It's my birthday." "Of course, you're going to be 8. "That's a big deal," he said, ruffling her hair affectionately. "We'll have a special day, I promise." She looked up at him, her eyes sparkling. "Can we go to the park and maybe have ice cream?" "Absolutely," he agreed, feeling the weight of her anticipation. "And maybe we can even find some time for a little bike riding." Her face lit up, and he could see the vivid daydreams dancing in her mind. "Do you think I could get a new bike? A pink one?" Sam's heart sank momentarily. "Well, let's see what tomorrow brings. It's always nice to have surprises, right?" "Yeah," she exclaimed, her enthusiasm bubbling over. "I love surprises." As she curled up against him, the warmth of her small body seeped into his skin, pushing away the chill of exhaustion and worry. He could stay like this forever, listening to her chatter about school and friends, but the work loomed like a dark cloud in the corner of his mind. "Okay, kiddo, how about you head back to bed? I'll come tuck you in soon," he said gently, coaxing her up. "Promise?" she asked, her eyes wide and trusting. "Promise," he replied, leaning down to kiss the top of her head. "Now go on, I'll be right there." As she slipped out of the room, Sam's heart twisted with the weight of his secret. He had been trying so hard to keep his worries at bay, crafting a world for her that was untouched by the reality of their situation. But the truth was, he was terrified of what would happen if he failed her. With a deep breath, he turned back to his work. The deadline was approaching, and he was determined to finish the design. He needed that paycheck, and he needed to make the night worthwhile for Lily. Hours passed, and the quiet of the apartment wrapped around him like a comforting blanket. The only sounds were the tapping of the keys and the occasional rustle of cars passing outside. Just as he was about to finalize the last few details, his phone buzzed on the desk. It was a message from his neighbor, Sarah, a single mother herself who often offered support. But tonight, he didn't want to be distracted. He hesitated before picking it up, curiosity piqued. "Hey Sam, can you please come help me with something? I need a hand with the kids." He sighed, torn between his responsibilities as a father and the work that was still unfinished. He typed a quick response, explaining that he was busy but would be available in the morning. The thought of Lily's smile spurred him on, and he returned to the screen, intent on finishing. But then another buzz interrupted him. This time it was a call from Sarah. He muttered under his breath, answering the phone reluctantly. "Hey, Sarah, I really need to." "Sam," she interrupted, her voice laced with urgency. "I know you're busy, but it's important. Can you come over, please?" Okay. I'll be right there," he said, frustration creeping in. He quickly saved his work and stood up, stretching out his stiff limbs. "Just give me a minute." He grabbed his jacket and stepped into the hallway, the fluorescent lights buzzing above him like angry bees. With a heavy heart, he walked towards Sarah's apartment, knowing that every minute lost was a minute further away from the perfect birthday surprise for Lily. But as he knocked on Sarah's door, he reminded himself, sometimes being a good neighbor meant stepping out of your own worries. As the door swung open, Sarah's tired eyes met his, and he could see the weight of the evening etched on her face. "Thank you for coming," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "What's going on?" he asked, stepping inside. Before she could answer, the sound of small voices filled the air. Two rambunctious toddlers darting around the living room, their laughter ringing like tiny bells. Sam's heart warmed at the sight, and he felt the familiar pang of longing for simpler days. But as he turned back to Sarah, her expression shifted from gratitude to an edge of concern, and he sensed that everything was about to change. "Sam," she said, her voice trembling just slightly, "I need to talk to you about something serious." His heart sank as he prepared for the worst, the undercurrents of dread swirling around him like a storm. In that moment, he realized that the night he had so painstakingly dedicated to celebration could very well unravel into something he never anticipated. The clock on the wall ticked steadily, its rhythm a constant reminder of the late hour, while Sam Grayson sat hunched over his laptop. The glow of the screen illuminated his dark circles, settling across his weary face like a shadowy veil. He was used to working late. After all, the freelance life was one of both freedom and precariousness. But tonight felt different. Tonight was a night of purpose, a night of hope. Lily's 8th birthday was just hours away, and though they'd made a cozy life for themselves in their small 2-bedroom apartment, Sam couldn't shake the anxiety swirling within him. The pressure to provide for her, both materially and emotionally, weighed heavily on his shoulders. Just a few more tweaks, he murmured to himself, fingers flying across the keyboard, crafting promotional graphics for a local artisan coffee shop, a job that would hopefully bring in enough for the coveted gift, a bright blue bicycle that had stolen Lily's heart during their last outing. Suddenly, the soft patter of small feet broke through his concentration. Sam looked up from the screen just in time to see Lily standing in the doorway, her hair tousled and eyes still heavy with sleep. She was a miniature replica of her mother, a fact that both warmed his heart and twisted his stomach with grief. "Daddy," she whispered, rubbing her eyes and peering into the glow of the laptop. "What are you doing up so late?" He forced a smile, trying to mask the exhaustion that clung to him like a fog. "Just finishing some work, sweetheart. You should be asleep. It's almost midnight." Lily shuffled closer, the little unicorn pajamas she wore swaying with her movements. "Are you working on my birthday surprise?" Sam's heart squeezed in his chest. He had planned to keep the bike a secret until morning, to see the delight in her eyes as she discovered it in the living room. But here was his little girl, looking so innocent and hopeful, and he couldn't bring himself to lie. "Sort of. I'll tell you all about it tomorrow, okay?" "Okay," she replied, though her brow furrowed in confusion. "Can I help?" He chuckled softly, brushing a hand through his hair. "You're supposed to be dreaming of unicorns and rainbows, not helping your dad work." Lily stepped forward, her small hand reaching towards the keyboard, and he felt a warmth spread through him at her eagerness. "But I want to do something special for my birthday. Can I make a card for you to give me? Like a surprise?" A genuine smile broke through his fatigue at her infectious excitement. "You know what? That sounds like a perfect idea." With a nod, she dashed off to gather her art supplies, which were haphazardly strewn across the living room floor. As he watched her go, he felt a rush of love and vulnerability. In so many ways, she was a reflection of the life he was trying to build. A life filled with creativity, joy, and the kind of laughter that chased the shadows away. But just as Lily settled at the table with crayons and paper, a chime from his phone interrupted the moment. It was a text from Sarah, his neighbor. "Sam, I need your help. Can you come over?" His heart sank. Sarah was a single mother struggling to make ends meet, much like he was, but tonight he felt torn. He glanced at Lily, who was deep in concentration, her tongue poking out of the corner of her mouth. "Just a minute, Lily," he said softly before slipping out of the room. As he stepped into the dimly lit hallway, his mind raced. Sarah was always there for him when he needed a breather, but tonight he felt he needed to be there for his daughter. She was the one who deserved his attention most. He hesitated, fingers hovering over the screen, the warmth of his daughter's laughter echoing in his ears. With a deep breath, Sam decided to prioritize his daughter's needs. He texted back, "I'm sorry, Sarah, I can't tonight. Everything's a bit hectic with Lily's birthday." His heart tightened at the thought of leaving her alone in whatever crisis she was facing, but he had to keep his focus on Lily. As he returned to the living room, the weight of his decision still hung in the air. "Daddy," Lily called out, glancing up from her colorful artwork. "Are you coming back?" Of course, he forced a smile and sat beside her, "What are you making?" "I'm making you a birthday card," she exclaimed. "It's going to say, 'Happy birthday, Daddy,' even though it's not your birthday, but you work hard for me and I want you to have a present too." Sam's heart swelled and he fought back the lump forming in his throat. "That's so thoughtful of you," he said, feeling emotional. "You make every day feel like a celebration." "Like a party?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Exactly like a party." He watched as she colored a picture of a cake, complete with 8 candles. For a fleeting moment, he forgot the looming deadlines and the worry about paying rent. He was simply a father, lost in the joy of his daughter's creativity. But then, just as quickly, the world around them creaked back into reality. The weight of his responsibilities crashed back into his thoughts as he glanced at the clock, realizing how much time he had lost. If he didn't finish the project soon, he wouldn't get paid, and the bicycle would remain an unreachable dream. "I need to work a little more, Lily," he said, a hint of regret creeping into his voice. "Can you finish your card by yourself?" Her enthusiasm flickered momentarily, but she nodded. "Okay, but I want to show it to you when I'm done." "Absolutely, I'll be right here." He returned to his laptop, fingers tapping away at the keys, but as he did, he couldn't shake the sense of guilt that lingered over him like a dark cloud. Was he sacrificing too much of their time together for a project? Would the bike even matter when what she really wanted was his attention? Suddenly, his phone buzzed again, this time with an incoming call. He glanced at the screen and saw Sarah's name. Hesitation gripped him, but he answered, wanting to ensure she was all right. "Hey, Sarah, is everything okay?" "What do you mean, is everything okay?" she replied, her voice shaky. "I'm in a bit of a trouble here." He could hear the distress etched in her tone, and his heart raced. "What's wrong?" "I had a plumbing emergency, and I really don't know what to do. My place is flooding, and I can't manage it alone." "Okay," he said, voice steadying as he pushed aside the internal conflict swirling within. "I'm on my way." After hanging up, Sam returned to the living room to find Lily still diligently working on her birthday card. He knelt beside her, concern etched on his face. "Lily, I have to go help Sarah. She's in a bit of trouble." Her face fell, disappointment washing over her. "But what about my party?" He knelt lower, meeting her gaze. "I promise I'll be back as soon as I can. You can finish your card while I'm gone and we'll have the best birthday party together when I return. Will you wait for me?" "Okay," she said, though her small voice held a hint of sadness. "Just think of it as a surprise. I'll bring back something special." As he rushed out the door, he glanced back at her, watching her tiny figure bend over the table, letting the door click shut behind him. A wave of guilt crashed over him again, but he shook it off. He had to help Sarah. Maybe, in doing so, he could also teach Lily the importance of being there for others. The night air chilled him as he hurried down the dimly lit stairs, but his heart raced with urgency for both Sarah and Lily. He would find a way to make it all work, he told himself. Somehow. Part 3, Shifting Times. The clock on the wall ticked, or more accurately, it felt like it was mocking him with each rhythmic sound. Sam glanced up from his computer, rubbing his tired eyes as he tried to smooth out the creases of anxiety etched across his brow. It was past 1 in the morning, and the glow of his laptop screen illuminated the small kitchen. The aroma of burnt coffee still lingered in the air, remnants of the caffeine-fueled night that had turned into an all-out marathon of design work. He swiveled back to the screen, but the promotional graphics for the coffee shop felt less vibrant than they had just a few hours ago. Sam's heart sank as he recalled Lily's eager face earlier that evening. The way she had bounced on her toes, eyes sparkling with excitement as she talked about her birthday bike, made his chest tighten with a mix of pride and guilt. He was doing this for her, a bike that she could ride around the neighborhood, wind in her hair, laughter trailing behind her like a comet's tail. Yet here he was, hunched over deadlines and caffeine, lost in the endless cycle of work that defined his life. Just as he began to lose himself in the graphics again, a soft knock interrupted the silence, a familiar sound that sent warmth through his chest. It was Sarah, his neighbor, standing on the threshold of his kitchen, half lit by the harsh glow of the overhead light. She wore her usual worn-out pajama bottoms and a faded t-shirt that had seen better days. Her hair was pulled back in a messy bun, yet her face was etched with concern. "Hey, Sam," she said softly, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. "I hope I'm not interrupting." "Not at all," he replied, forcing a smile as he motioned for her to sit at the small dining table cluttered with design proofs and half-finished coffee cups. "What's going on? Everything okay?" Sarah dragged a tired hand across her face and her shoulders slumped. "Not really. I've got a leak in my bathroom and it's getting worse. I was hoping you could take a look. I'm afraid I'm going to flood my apartment if I don't do something soon." Sam's heart sank a little. He had planned to finish the graphics for the coffee shop's campaign tonight so he could focus on Lily's birthday tomorrow. But looking at Sarah, he felt that familiar tug of responsibility. She was a single mom too, and juggling her job while raising her spirited son, Ethan, left little room for home repairs. "Of course," he said, standing up and stretching. "Let me grab my toolbox." As he moved toward the door, he caught a glimpse of Lily's bedroom. The soft glow from her nightlight spilled out into the hallway, a gentle reminder of the little girl waiting for her father to come through with the promised surprise. Sam hesitated, glancing back at the door to her room, feeling the swell of guilt again. "Sam," Sarah's voice broke through his thoughts, concern lacing her tone. "Are you sure you're up for this? It's late." "Yeah, I'm fine." He forced a casual tone that he didn't quite feel. With a sigh, he grabbed his toolbox and headed out, the weight of his decision hanging in the air like a thundercloud. The two of them stepped out into the cool night air, the faint sounds of the city still alive around them. Sarah led the way to her apartment, a cozy space filled with mismatched furniture and the unmistakable chaos of family life. "Sorry for the late-night SOS," she said, her eyes darting around the living room as if to reassure herself that everything was in its proper place. "Ethan is sleeping, and I just don't want to wake him." "Don't worry about it," Sam replied, kneeling beside the bathroom sink. "At least you called before it turned into a full-blown disaster." As he worked on the leaky faucet, Sarah leaned against the doorframe, watching him with an expression that was part gratitude and part worry. "You do so much for me, Sam. I feel like I should be paying you for your time." He chuckled lightly, trying to ease the tension. "You do the same for me. We're neighbors, it's what we do." She shifted her weight, her gaze dropping to the floor. "I know, but it's just, sometimes I feel like I'm taking advantage of your kindness. You're always helping me with the kids, fixing things around the apartment. It's just a lot." Her words hit him harder than expected. Sam knew what it was like to feel overwhelmed and underappreciated. He'd been there before, doubting his own value while struggling to keep everything afloat. "Look, Sarah," he said, tightening the faucet. "You're not taking advantage. You're a single mom just like me. We all need a hand sometimes. Besides," he paused, looking up to meet her eyes, "I enjoy helping. It makes me feel like I'm part of something bigger." She smiled, the tension easing a bit from her shoulders. "You make it sound so easy." "Yeah, well, I'm still figuring it out." When he finished with the faucet, he turned to her with a satisfied grin. "There, all done. Just keep an eye on it for a bit, but I think it should hold for now." "Thank you," she said, genuine warmth in her voice. "You're a lifesaver." As they stood in the doorway, a moment stretched between them, an unspoken understanding, a camaraderie forged in hardship. Sam felt a flicker of something more, an appreciation for the quiet strength they both shared as single parents. "Can I offer you a cup of coffee?" Sarah asked, breaking the silence. "I have some fresh grounds if you're still awake enough for it." "Sure," he replied, taking a step back into her apartment, the familiar scent of her home wrapping around him. "Just a quick one, though. I really need to get back before Lily wakes up." As she moved into the kitchen, Sam took a moment to look around. Family photos adorned the walls, Ethan's goofy smile captured in a moment of uninhibited joy, Sarah's own grin beside him. The sight tugged at something deep within him, an ache he'd been trying to ignore. "Hey Sam," Sarah's voice pierced through his thoughts. "Are you all right?" He blinked, suddenly feeling exposed. "Yeah, just lost in thought, I guess." About Lily's birthday. The question caught him off guard. "How did you know?" "You've been talking about it for weeks. The excitement in your voice whenever you mention her birthday, it's sweet." She poured 2 steaming mugs and walked over, handing him one. "I hope you're not feeling too much pressure." He took a sip, letting the warmth seep into his bones. "I am a little. I want it to be special for her, you know. After everything we've been through, I just want her to feel loved." She nodded, her expression softening. "I get it. We want to give our kids the world even when it feels like we're barely keeping our own lives together." Sam looked at her, an unexpected comfort blossoming between them. "It's tough, isn't it? Juggling everything, trying to be the perfect parent." "Yeah," she chuckled, but the humor didn't reach her eyes. "I think we set ourselves up for failure sometimes. No one can be perfect. Maybe just being there is enough," he said thoughtfully, "even when we feel like we're failing." Their eyes met, and Sam felt a connection, a shared understanding of the burdens they each carried. In that moment, he realized that he wasn't just helping out a neighbor. He was forming a bond built on shared experiences, 2 people navigating the turbulent waters of parenthood alone, but not truly alone. "Do you think," Sarah began hesitantly, "that maybe we could help each other more? I mean, if you need a break or someone to talk to, or even just to share the load." Sam smiled, feeling an unexpected warmth spread through him. "I'd like that." As they stood amidst the soft glow of the kitchen light, the ticking clock faded into the background, and for the first time that night, Sam felt a sense of hope. Perhaps by leaning on each other, they could find a way to navigate the challenges of their lives while still giving their children the love and support they deserved. But as he glanced at the clock again, reality crept in and he realized he needed to leave. "I should get going. Thank you for the coffee." "Anytime," Sarah replied, her eyes sparkling with a mix of gratitude and something else he couldn't quite define. "And good luck with the birthday tomorrow." "Thanks," he said with a smile, stepping back out into the cool night air. As he made his way home, thoughts of the day ahead loomed in his mind. He needed to make tomorrow special for Lily, but perhaps he wouldn't have to do it alone. And for the first time in a long while, Sam felt that maybe, just maybe, he was on the right path, not only for his daughter but for himself as well. Part 4, a shift in perspective. Sam stood in the dim glow of his kitchen, the clock on the wall silently ticking its way into the early morning hours. The soft hum of the refrigerator filled the void of sound in the house. He stirred the instant coffee in his chipped mug, glancing at the birthday banner he had hung for Lily with the words, "Happy Birthday," scrawled across it in colorful letters. It felt like a hollow promise, one he was desperately trying to keep while balancing the weight of his responsibilities. He had promised himself that he would take a break from work to spend the day with her. But as he peered at his laptop screen filled with spreadsheets and emails, he felt the familiar pang of guilt twist in his stomach. It was never just about the money. Sure, the extra hours would help with the bills and maybe even allow him to buy that shiny new bike Lily had pointed out in the store window. But all that came with a cost that weighed heavily on his heart. "Dad, Lily's sleepy voice broke through the silence. She appeared in the doorway, rubbing her eyes with the back of her hand as if trying to erase the remnants of sleep. Her hair was a wild mess, a halo of soft curls that framed her cherubic face. At that moment, she looked so small and vulnerable, and Sam's heart ached at the thought of not being present for her special day. "Hey, sweet pea," he replied, forcing a smile even though the corners of his mouth felt heavy. "What are you doing up so early?" "I heard you working," she said, a hint of sadness creeping into her voice. "I thought maybe we could make pancakes together before the sun comes up." Sam's chest tightened. He had promised her pancakes, fluffy and golden, with maple syrup drizzled on top and fresh strawberries on the side. But the looming deadlines felt insurmountable, like a mountain he couldn't climb. "Of course, I'd love that," he said, ruffling her hair as he stood up, already feeling the weight of his work retreating just a little. "How about I make the pancakes and you can be my special taste tester?" Lily's eyes brightened, and for a moment, Sam felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps this birthday could still be special despite the hours he had sacrificed. As he whisked the batter in the mixing bowl, he could feel her gaze on him, inquisitive and hopeful. "So, what are you getting me?" she asked, her voice laced with innocence and excitement. "Ah, a surprise," he said, trying to sound enthusiastic. "But you have to promise not to ask. It'll be much more fun that way." She giggled, and Sam found himself smiling genuinely for the first time that morning. They chatted about school, about her friends, and about the butterfly that had landed on her shoulder during recess yesterday. The pancakes sizzled on the griddle, and the kitchen slowly filled with the rich aroma of melting butter and sweet batter. After breakfast, as Lily dove into her pile of birthday presents, Sam couldn't shake the feeling that he was missing something crucial. The bike was nice, sure, but was that really what she wanted? What she needed? He thought back to his own childhood and how it had never been about the presents, but rather about the time spent together, building memories that would last a lifetime. Later, as he cleaned up the kitchen, Sam heard a knock on the door. He opened it to find Sarah, his neighbor from across the hall, standing there with a worried frown on her face. "Oh, hey, Sam. Sorry to interrupt," she said, her voice laced with an edge of frustration. "But I could really use your help with a plumbing issue. The sink's been acting funny, and I think it might be clogged." Sure," Sam replied, glancing back at Lily, who was now happily tearing into a new book. "Let me just grab some tools." As he gathered his things, he couldn't help but feel a twinge of annoyance. He had plans, even if fleeting, to spend the day focused solely on Lily. But when he looked at Sarah, her distress was palpable, and something deep inside him stirred, a desire to help, to connect. In her apartment, the smell of burnt toast wafted through the air, a testament to her own chaotic morning. The kitchen was small, cluttered with toys and half-finished art projects, a mirror of his own home. "Thanks for this," Sarah said, handing him a wrench. "I really appreciate it. With both kids at home for the summer, I've been drowning in everything." "No problem," he said, focusing on the sink, the water swirling ominously. "I get it. It's tough juggling everything alone." Sarah sighed, a sound heavy with unspoken struggles. "Yeah, sometimes I wonder how I'm going to make it work. I mean, school's out, work's been hectic, and the kids need constant attention. It never ends." As Sam worked the wrench into the pipes, he found himself nodding in agreement. "I know how you feel. I've been working late just to keep up, which means missing out on time with my daughter. It's like the harder I work to give her a good life, the more I seem to miss out on living it with her." "Exactly," Sarah said, her eyes brightening with understanding. "It's a vicious cycle, isn't it?" As the sink gurgled back to life, Sam felt a sense of camaraderie with her. They were two ships sailing through the same storm, each struggling to stay afloat while raising their children in a world that seemed to demand everything from them. "So how do you do it?" Sam asked, wiping his hands on a dish towel as they moved back toward the kitchen table. "How do you find time for all of it?" She hesitated, her gaze drifting to the window. "I don't know if I really do. Sometimes I just take a deep breath and remind myself that the mess is part of the journey. But I won't lie, it's hard. I do wish I had someone to share the load with." At that moment, Sam realized that their conversation was building something more than just friendship. It was a bridge of mutual understanding. They were both navigating the uncharted waters of single parenthood, and perhaps, just perhaps, they could lean on each other a little. "Maybe we could help each other out sometime," Sam suggested, his voice tentative yet hopeful. "You know, trade off a night where one of us watches the kids while the other takes a break." "I'd like that," Sarah replied, a genuine smile breaking through her earlier worry. "It would be nice to share the weight a bit." As they stood in that kitchen, surrounded by the chaos of parenting, Sam felt an unexpected flicker of hope ignite within him. Perhaps it was the connection he had been yearning for, a reminder that he was not alone in this struggle. They both needed support, and in that shared vulnerability, they found a glimmer of possibility. As he left her apartment, Sam took a deep breath, feeling lighter than he had in weeks. He glanced back at Sarah, who was now gathering her children's scattered toys, and he offered a smile. In that fleeting moment, he realized that the path to balance didn't have to be walked alone. Returning home, he found Lily still engrossed in her new book, her imagination alive in the world of words. He settled beside her, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "What do you say we make today our special day? Just you and me." Her eyes sparkled with joy. "Yes, can we go to the park and ride my new bike?" "Absolutely," he replied. And for the first time in a long while, he felt the weight of his responsibilities shift. It was still there, but now it felt more manageable, less suffocating. As they planned their day together, Sam thought about the possibilities of this new connection with Sarah. Perhaps it was just the beginning of a new chapter, not just for him, but for both of them. They were learning to navigate the complexities of their lives, and in the midst of it all, there was a spark of hope that promised brighter days ahead.